Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Mindset Call. My name is Stephanie Matos. We have already been having an awesome conversation and chat before we hit record. So we're going to continue that path and journey. This call is really all about keeping you motivated and inspired and excited to be on this health and wellness journey that we all are on. As we all know, not every day is easy, right? So really this call is to allow you to lean in for the support that you need when the going gets tough, when the going gets rough, or when things are going awesome. Let's be honest, right? So it doesn't always have to be a negative thing. It can also be a positive thing. And speaking of positive things, really quick, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you were here with me live, and also if you're watching the replay, I want to say welcome. I know a lot of times that you're not able to make it to the times of these calls. And if that is you, I want to say hello, welcome. You are a part of this. You're here in spirit. So thank you so much for watching the replays. And we always start with wins, right? So what I want to do is go ahead and open up the chat for wins. And if there's a win that you're just really excited to talk about and you would like to unmute, or if there's a win that, is a little bit more long and you don't feel like typing it all out, you can definitely unmute and share that with us. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so Erin, hey Erin, I'm okay in third week of brain and feel great. Yay! Going for a hike after this call. Had second C shot yesterday. Awesome. Very, very cool. Yay. Excited that you're going on a hike, and more importantly that you have the energy to go on a hike and that you feel good to go on a hike. Very, very cool. Athena says hello to everybody. Oh, Julie, very cool. Okay, so Julie says she started a gratitude jar. I have great ideas to decorate it that haven't happened and might not ever happen, but at least I have the jar. Very, very cool, Julie. I agree. One day you might get inspired to decorate it, but for now, we will just celebrate the success that you have the jar. Very cool. Let me see. And then Christine, I am here today. Yes, this is a huge win. And I am so happy that you're here. And I'm happy that you're celebrating that as a success, because it is a success. And we're happy that you're here, Christine. Okay, so Athena, win. I'm keeping on AIP, even though I had to stop supplements for spinal surgery. Very, very good. 2, overwhelming negative emotions and thoughts for having a second spinal surgery by power walking daily and doing meditations. Very cool, Athena. Good job. Good job for that. Just keep that up. Keep it up. We would all understand that having a second spinal surgery is not the most fun thing, right? And so you're doing the best that you can to keep your motivation up, your spirits up, and also just treating your body the way that it needs to be treated to support it for its healing journey. Very, very good. Brendan, hello. You'll have to let me know if your name is not Brendan, but if it is Brendan, welcome. Okay, so wins. Last week of brain phase and on to mastermind. Awesome. I'll be seeing you in mastermind. I have a call every single Wednesday. We're the Wednesday Warriors. We'd love to have you there. Okay, more energy, better sleep, and so thankful for this group. Stephanie, I truly appreciate your positive attitude and help. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, Lori. Okay, I had a feeling you really weren't Brendan, but I wasn't sure. Okay, cool, Lori. Lori, I'll see you in the mastermind. I'm so happy for all of your successes, and thank you so much for that sweet comment there. Really appreciate it. All right, Petra. Hey, Petra. I feel like my brain is waking up. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I felt like that before too. That's a great feeling. Okay, so I feel like my brain is waking up, have been very creative, making quilts, and now painting again. Yay, Petra. Amazing. So cool. So cool. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you, Petra. Very cool. Okay, Isabella. Hey, Isabella. I watched the Overwhelmed video from December and it was very empowering. Yay. Very, very good. I'm so happy to hear that. Knowledge is power. It spoke volumes to me and helped me to realize why I am the way I am. Okay, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And what I'm going to start doing, you guys, I think I'm just going to keep maybe that open on my own computer so that the times when the folks that are so kind to pop them in the chat for me aren't here, I can pop that in, because that's one that I think it's one of those ones that every single person can really glean a lot from, because every single one of us is going to be overwhelmed in some way, shape, or form in our lives. And Isabel, I'm so glad that you were able to watch that and got a lot out of it. Tori, hey Tori, wins. This is my first call that I'm attending. Very cool. Welcome, Tori. I'm down 10 pounds overall. I struggle to be fully compliant with the diet, but I now notice the effects of different foods have on me. Gluten makes me tired. Sugar makes me grumpy. Yes. Okay. So this is important, Tori. Is that so? What you're becoming is more hyper aware and hypersensitive to how these foods are negatively affecting you, or maybe positively affecting you, right? So there could be some foods that you're like, wow, this digests really easily, I have a lot of energy. And then there's other ones that it's like, ugh, I feel like there's a brick in my stomach is bloated, I have no energy, and I don't like that, right? And that, so it's kind of interesting, because you're saying, you haven't been compliant, fully compliant, right? What's kind of cool about this is that it starts to become this intuitively guided thing where it's like, that's going to make me feel like crap. Okay, so I'm not going to eat that. Right. And so it's less about like feeling like you have to do something. And it's more like this choice that you're making of, I could eat that. I could, but how am I going to feel the next couple days? I've got an important training tomorrow, or I've got an important meeting, or I really need to think straight. Okay, I'm not going to eat that today, right? Very cool. And also, thank you for attending this call. We're happy that you're here and hope to see you back again. Okay, so Lori says, lost 24 pounds in fear of gaining it back because I'm at the end of this journey. Okay, so that's more of like a challenge, right? Well, that's half win, half challenge. Okay, so we'll talk about this really quick. So right now what we'll do, Lori, is celebrate that win of the 24 pounds. And now I would love to talk about in the challenges section. You're not alone, by the way, of this fear of gaining it back. So let's chat about that. Okay, so yes, I am going to mastermind, but I'm nervous about gaining the weight back. Okay, let's chat about that. And what I can share with you is that I haven't had anybody have this experience in mastermind, just so you know. Just to kind of put your mind at ease from the get-go, that most people just are continuing their health journey. They're just continuing their weight loss journeys. I haven't seen anybody like majorly fall off the wagon, or at least the Wednesday warriors, right? So those are the people that I know really, really closely, are those people who come every single Wednesday without fail to that call. And they're all just absolutely killing it and thriving, right? Not every single day, right? So don't get me wrong, there will be some challenges there, but there's been a lot of positive motion. I'll put it that way.
Stephanie,
Okay.
for future reference, which
Yeah,
won't be
yeah.
too far in the future, what time is your Wednesday call?
It is noon EST on Wednesdays.
Good, I can go.
Yay! Good. I'm happy to hear that. Can't wait for that. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, Christine, how do I keep my cool when things go wrong? Okay, so we'll talk about the challenges. So I want to make sure that I remember these challenges when we get to that part. So if I skip your challenge, please, please, please let me know. But I will. So right now it's the weight gain and keeping your cool. Okay. So Athena, discovery. I was on a Zoom call, the power of thoughts. Oh, cool, cool, cool. So which was informative and inspiring, if you can talk about it. So I don't know exactly what she covered, but I would love to talk about it. How that our thoughts are very extremely powerful, as you guys know. I mean, that's basically what we're talking about almost every single week. And because I didn't attend the training, I don't know exactly what she spoke about, but we can 110% talk about that. And I'm so glad to hear that it was amazing. Very cool. Um, anybody else? Anybody else have any wins that they want to share? And if not, we can start talking about some of the challenges. And actually, what we'll go ahead and do is if you have any wins, please feel free to pop them into the chat anytime. And if you have challenges or questions or anything that you want to discuss or chat about, please pop those in the comments. What I'm going to do is go ahead and start with the weight gain one, and then we'll kind of work our way down to Christine's, and then we'll see what comes through. And then for those of you who attended that Power of Thoughts training, if you can get ask me any specific questions about it, then I would be happy to touch on that as well. I have a feeling that my philosophy around thoughts is going to be very similar to whatever was presented. Even though I didn't watch it, I have a feeling that it's going to be very similar. So we can definitely chat about that. Okay. Now, what I want to tell you, Lori, and everybody else on the call is that when we have had past experiences, right? And I don't even know Lori's experience, right? So I'd want to put that out there, meaning from the past. However, I'm gonna just have a guess here, right? So let's say in the past we have had experiences where we have gained the weight back every single time, or lost 10 pounds, gained back 20, or lost 30 pounds, gained back 40, or whatever it is, right? Well, if that's your past experience, it can be very easy to accidentally start to think that this is going to be your present experience as well. However, what I'm here to tell you is that, lucky for us, that just isn't the truth, and that's not how this works, right? And so basically what we have to understand is that version of you, and this is for, and again, I'm kind of making some assumptions here, right? So if I'm wrong, please call me out on this. Lori, if this isn't what you're feeling or not helpful, please let me know. Okay, cool. So she just let me know in the chat. Correct. My past experience has been to gain it back plus more. Okay. Look at that. See how did I'm not a psychic, right? So this is just the reason why I say I'm not a psychic. It's because you're not alone. This is something that's very, very extremely common. But what I want you to really step into your power with this, Lori, and really so anybody watching this on the replay or anybody here who feels this way too, or has this fear too, is to understand that who you were then is not who you are now. And the things that you know now, and how in tune with your body you are now, and the way that you've lost this weight this time, which was very different. And again, I don't really know what you did in the past, but I have a feeling this has been extremely different than what you've done in the past. And so that means that not only are you different, not only do you know different things, not only have you treated your body in a different way, not only has this whole system been incredibly different, you know more now than you did before. So therefore you will make better decisions. Okay. And so because you are different, you will receive a different outcome. Okay. So I want to remind you of in the mindset team, right? So our overarching theme is be, do, and have. Who do you need to be in order to do the things you need to do in order to have what it is you want to have, right? And so in this instance, it's lasting weight loss, right? And I guarantee you who you are now is so different than the person you were before. And so with that being said, right, with this idea of be, do, have, so this version of you is so different now than who you were before. You're going to do different things, and therefore you will have different things. Okay. But I really want you to understand that we can also have self-fulfilling prophecies. So if we think things are going to be harder, if we think things are going to be challenging, or if we think things are, if we believe we're going to gain weight back or whatever, we can accidentally self-sabotage ourselves. And so really what I want you to start to do is go, I am different. Number one, right? So let's just accept that one first. I am very different than who I was in the past. Even a year ago, you're very different now. The version of you who stepped into CHA is very different than the version of you that you are now 5 months later, right? Or nearly 5 months later. And so what we can say is, from a science perspective, right? This isn't even like a human perspective or a beliefs perspective or whatever. From a science perspective, that shows that you will have a different result, simply because you are so different. Let me know if that makes sense, you guys, or if you have any. Okay, so okay. So what she says is, wow, thank you for reminding me of all of this. You rock. Thank you. I will accept that. And you rock too. Okay, so do you have to just always remember that? You have to always remember that. Yes. Okay. So Erin says, I think all of us that really suffer from weight issues have had this issue. Yes. And this is why it was so easy for me to go, I have a feeling that probably in the past you had this experience, right? And so I totally get it. And it's just important to understand that the past is the past. It has no involvement or indication of what you will receive in the future unless we allow it to. Okay. And so what we're doing every single day is just allowing you guys to step more and more and more and more and more into your empowered version, your confident version, this version of you that knows that you've put in a lot of hard work over the last 5 months. And most importantly, what you've done over the last 5 months has been incredibly different than what you did in the years previous. Okay. Very cool, you guys. Awesome. 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 Let me see. And then Christine, I will get to you. Let me just read what Athena's saying here. Discovery, how to spot patterns of thought, actions, how we can how we can overcome negative thoughts. Okay, so this is what you discovered in that training. Very cool. Very, very cool. That's very powerful. Okay, so let's go to Christine's thing here is, so how can I keep my cool when things go wrong? Okay, so Christine, can you do me a huge favor? And you can either unmute or type in the chat. Hang on one second. Sorry about that, you guys. I've got to figure out how to stop that from ringing through my computer. I don't know how to stop it. Okay, I need Michelle. That's who I need. She'll teach me how to do it. Okay, Christine, can you give me a follow-up on when you say things go wrong? I just want to make sure that I'm kind of angling my response to you best. So is it wrong in yourself? Is it wrong with others? Let me know.
Like last night, I couldn't find my cell phone and I was getting ready to go to bed because I had to work early in the morning. And I don't know why, if it's because I was tired or frustrated, I couldn't find it, but I had a little meltdown and I haven't done that in a long time. And I know my husband didn't appreciate it. So I was so disappointed in myself, but it's just like I was tired. I wanted to find my phone so I could set the alarm and go to bed. And I just lost it. And I don't know what the deal was. I don't know why.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Got it. So first of all, I would say, try not to beat yourself too much about this, right? This is something that we're only human, you guys. So we can do the best that we can to think positively, to keep our cool all the time, but here's the truth is that this is just not possible to do all the time. Okay. So just know that, you're not alone, having and this is the thing too, is that sometimes it's like the littlest thing that can set you off. And then that makes it even worse because you're like, oh my gosh, all it was a phone. Why did I flip out? But here's the truth is that we're human and it's okay. Right. It would be interesting to find out kind of what happened in your day that led up to that, because I have a feeling that was just kind of like, because essentially we have the most, well, not all the time. We have a tendency to have the most challenging times later at night. This depends on what your work schedule is, all of that kind of stuff, right? But if you have a typical work schedule where you're, waking up in the morning and then blah, 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 because all day long we're having to deal with whatever it is we're dealing with, right? So let's use willpower as an example. There's that willpower battery training in the portal, or sorry, in Process Street. And so the willpower is like a battery. And so if in the morning you're having to deal with people shoving donuts in your face, but you go, no, 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 right? Willpower battery depletes. Then at lunch, somebody's like, here's pizza. You're like, no, 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 no. And then you drive home and then it's traffic, back to back traffic and blah, 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 right? Because stress also depletes willpower. So then it goes even lower. So then by the time you get home, it's like, you're like, I have no willpower left, right? Or I have no patience left, or I have no confidence left, or I have no happiness left, right? So some days are just easier than others. So it could be interesting just to see kind of what it was that you went through during the day, to see if that could have been a catalyst for maybe a more kind of emotional response to something.
Well, I guess I'm just kind of frustrated with my husband because he knows I've been doing these fastings and stuff and all this and everything. And so yesterday and the day before, when I'm off work, he's like, oh, well, we're going to go see a movie at 4, or we're going to go do this, after after he takes his nap. And it's like he doesn't even ask me. Not that I don't mind, but it's like, I like to schedule my eating and my fasting. And it's like, he doesn't seem to like I mean, he's happy with the results, but he doesn't like, there's no support, you know, and
Yeah.
it's just, I think I was frustrated with that because I had to work my fasting around what he wanted to do. And yeah, he drives me nuts sometimes.
You are not alone. Okay, so just so you know, you're not alone. Okay, now really quick, there's a couple of people going, okay, so basically it's so basically what I was thinking is correct, right? I had a feeling there was something underlying that actually caused that. And you guys, this is one thing that you can always kind of count on, is if there's something that happens like that, if you can just take the emotion out of it, right? You know, where you're feeling kind of guilty for blowing up, or kind of silly maybe, or whatever it is. If you remove all of that, then you're left with, why did I do that? Interesting. What happened right before that? What happened during that day? What happened that week, or whatever it is? Because chances are there was a trigger for it, almost 100% of the time. I can't say 100%, right, but I would say 95% of the time there is going to be a pretty distinct trigger. And so I would say your husband probably doesn't have any clue that what he's doing is unsupportive. So this is the thing, is that we get it, because we understand what it's like to fast and need to, you know, have a schedule of when you eat this, or when you take this, or when you're drinking, or when you're not, you know, all of that kind of stuff. He literally has no clue what this involves, and he's just kind of living his life like, yay, let's go to the movies, this will be fun. And you're like, wait, whoa, pump the brakes, I've got to do this, that, right? So maybe this is just as simple as having a conversation with him and say, you know, and you can even kind of give it a finite time and say, you know, for the next 5 months, it would be awesome if, you know, I love going to the movies, I love doing this, you know, all of that kind of stuff, but if you could just touch base with me first to see where I'm at. Touch base with me first to see what I have to do that day, or touch base with me first to see if I'm fasting, or whatever it is, right? And then kind of, so it might be just you having to teach an old dog a new trick, basically, is what it is, because he's not used to this version of you either. So this is also very new for him too. He's used to the Christine from before that was just like whatever, and now you're like, no, I've got a very strict protocol I'm following, right? And so it might just be kind of you having some, just, I would keep it really light, you know, so it's not like, you do it when you're in a good mood, that helps too. You know, not when you're super frustrated, and just say, you know, exactly what I said. Do you think that he would respond well to that? Good. Okay, she's nodding, you guys. Okay, cool. We have a couple people talking about husband things. Okay. Okay, so Erin says, when my husband is in pain, he tends to snap and be argumentative. Yeah, I have a family member like that. And it's kind of interesting because pain, it can either be physical or mental, right? And so what Christine was having was a bit of a mental, more like a frustration pain, and then she snapped, right? And your husband is having more like a physical pain, and then he snaps, right? And so this is very, very interesting. Okay. Julie, I'm just now realizing how much work my body is doing with detoxing, and how exhausted I am at the end of the day. That translates into more emotions for me at the end of the day. Yeah. Okay. So this is a great thing to kind of touch on here, is exactly that. So that's why I made that video specifically on willpower, right? Because we are utilizing quite a bit of willpower when we're saying no to these things that we typically would have eaten in the past, right? However, I really believe, and I want to preface this with, I've never seen any science around this. So this is just based on anecdotal evidence that I have with clients and things like that, which is everything is like a battery. Like your confidence is like a battery, your willpower is like a battery, your worthiness is like a battery. You know, you have to keep plugging it in and charging it up, right? And yes, your body is 100% working very hard right now, Julie. That is for sure. And I have a feeling that you are going to be a little bit more tired, but that luckily doesn't last forever. You will start to see a light at the end of the tunnel with that. And I'm just glad that you're coming to these calls and getting the support you need on the emotional side of things. Erin says he doesn't get it. And yet he doesn't get it because he's not doing it. Yeah, that's the thing. And like the poor thing, right? I think he probably means well, but he just needs to get a little bit more of like a instructional guide on on, like step 1, ask me first, step 2, do this, that kind of thing. Okay. Tori says, I can relate. My husband has made cookies 3 times in the past week. Gotta smack that hand. Okay. In 6 years of marriage, he has never made cookies before. Okay. So, yeah, Erin says, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. We'll laugh. We'll laugh. However, yeah, I'm sure you probably wanted to cry sometimes, but here's what's really interesting, you guys, is that sometimes our loved ones start doing things like this subconsciously. Okay. So, and it's not because they want to like trip you up or don't love you or anything like that. It's not that. They don't know they're doing it. But it's kind of like, I mean, this is just proof right here, right? That her husband has never made cookies in 6 years. He has now made cookies 3 times in 1 week, right? And so this just shows you that there's probably a little part of him that is like, I hope my wife stays the same. I hope my wife doesn't, oh my gosh, like maybe she should eat a cookie. Maybe she shouldn't do this. You know what I mean? And it's just funny because it's not happening consciously. It's happening subconsciously. But all it is showing how much he's really loves you, but he shows it in a weird way. Right. Very interesting. You'll have to keep a pulse on that one. To maybe let them know no more cookies. Okay. 3 times in 1 week is enough for the next couple months. Okay. So, and then Lori, the willpower video is somewhere in Process Street, but I'm not 100% sure where. If anybody else can tell her where, that would be awesome. Let me see. Sorry, I couldn't tell you exactly where it was. I apologize for that. My husband. Okay,
I think it's in the preface.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Athena.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's the beginning. It's the preface.
I was going to say that I thought it was closer to the beginning as well, because it's kind of like part of that setup of just kind of getting you aware of what you need to be, expecting and all of that kind of stuff. So that at least cuts it down a bit to help you find it. And then, oh, hey, Natasha, I didn't even see you pop on. Hey, girlfriend. Okay. So Erin, my husband did an 18-hour fast with me one time over a month ago. He hasn't done one since. He thinks I'm crazy for doing 18 to 24-hour fasts. Hey, congratulations for him for even doing 118 one. That's pretty good. Maybe he'll do another one. Maybe not. No, I'm seeing a no. Okay, he's not doing that. Okay, so Natasha says, for those husbands who don't want to get it, value yourself anyway. I agree. And then Erin says, yes, Natasha. Oh, thank you, Erin. Natasha's always put, okay, what I'm going to do right now is actually click on Natasha's link and open it for myself. And I'm going to keep this open on my laptop so that when next time this question pops up, I will be prepared. Okay, cool. Oops, I lost my chat. I lost you guys. Where are you? There you are. Okay. Thank you, Natasha. So for those of you who, so I think it was Lori for sure, and somebody else wanted the Overwhelm link. Natasha just so kindly popped it into the chat for you. So if you're wanting to watch that, and if you haven't watched it, it's a really good one because it explains to you what happens in your brain when you get overwhelmed, and 5 really powerful techniques that you can use to release overwhelm. Okay. Natasha, my husband was not supportive at the beginning, and he's come around as he has seen me value myself. He has even started working out and eating better. And Erin says, great, in all caps. I couldn't agree more. And really, you guys, Jeannie wants to know if anybody has a link to the willpower video. I don't know that you can link from Process Street. Because everybody's Process Street is personal to them. So they won't be able to do that. But you know what, Jeannie, your coach should be able to tell you where it's at. And then I've got so many videos in there, you guys, it's hard for me to keep track of where they are. I think there's probably like at least 10 of them in there. So, or maybe more. So I'm not really sure where it is to tell you, but it's somewhere in the beginning. Yeah, in the first couple weeks, I would say the first like 4 weeks of stuff, it'll be somewhere in there. And it's called the Willpower Battery is what it's called. So if you can see the titles, that might help. So sorry about that. Sorry, we can't link you directly to it. But really quick, I want to touch on Natasha's comment here. So honestly, you guys, this is, I've seen it too many times now to think anything different, right? Is that when you just keep your blinders on and focused on what you want, and I'm not saying that anybody's husbands on here aren't supportive or anything like that, but just in general, right? So whether it's a husband or a wife or a sister or a brother, uncle's cousin, friend, whoever, if you have any naysayers in your life who aren't supportive, there's many, many reasons why they're not, right? And that's another story for another day that has to do with their beliefs about themselves is really where it comes from, or their beliefs around where you might run away from them or leave the pack or leave the tribe if you change too much. And so they want to kind of hang on to your feet and keep you where you're at out of fear, right? But regardless of what, so that's like neither here nor there, because really the truth is that as they see you expand, they then will become more supportive. It's kind of incredible how this happens. I've seen it so many times. Like a lot of people talk about this in the mastermind because they've been through, where, I mean, there was even one woman who their daughters were telling them how dumb it was and how silly it was that they, spend all this money and these supplements are poison. And I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then guess what? Even they start to turn around. Right. So it's just important to really stick to your guns and stay the path and stay the course and value yourself. That's a very attractive energy. And I don't really mean it from like, a romantic perspective. I just mean attractive from the energy that you give off is like happiness and light and excited and friendly. And guess what? That's attractive to people. Then all of a sudden they're like, what is it you're doing again? What was that eating thing again? What was that fasting thing again? But as they say, the proof is in the AIP compliant pudding, or I could even say the avocado pudding, right? Okay. Very cool, you guys. And then really quick, I want to touch on really fast Christine's comment about keeping your cool. And so one thing that we can always do. So first of all, if you ever explode or whatever, right, just know that this is a human. We are humans. We have feelings. They're not linear. They're very much like this. And, that's that, right? So we have to kind of forgive ourselves. But also what I want to kind of give you one little tidbit of information is that generally there is a trigger to every response or every action. And oftentimes what happens is that these things are very connected like this, where it's trigger, response, trigger, response, trigger, response, trigger, response. So, for example, if when you were, prior to this, if you were very stressed out, trigger, whatever that trigger was, whether it's work or the job or the husband or the wife or the whatever, the kids, the life, right? The immediate response may have been to eat cookies or a cake or pizza or macaroni and cheese or whatever it is, right? But as you can see, these are very enmeshed. And what we want to do is start to separate these things as much as we can. And when we separate these things, trigger and response, you have a little gap in the middle where you can actually assess what you're doing, right? Where it's like, is this really worth me getting angry about? Is this really worth it for me to eat this? Is this really in alignment with who I am as a person? Is this really going to move me forward down the goals that I want? Right. And once you actually assess that, then you're better able to make a decision on this side. So it becomes less like this kind of, this happens, that happens, this happens, that happens. It's like, this happened. Now I'm going to think about it, take a breath, go on a walk, call a friend, journal, think about my highest self like Jessie did. I didn't get to see Jessie this week. If you're watching this replay, we're thinking about you, Jessie. But like Jessie did, where she bought that Reese's and looked at herself on that mountain and was like, this doesn't match that. This doesn't match that. I ain't eating it. Right? Get rid of it. And so this is the cool thing, is that you guys you have the ability to really shift this. So if there's any areas of your life where you are having this very intense response, and here's the truth, you guys, is that sometimes it happens so quickly that you don't even realize there's a trigger or a response happening. You just, all of a sudden it's happening and you're down that road. But the cool thing is that every time you notice it, right? So again, with non-judgment, so we're not beating ourselves up or anything like that. We're just going like, oops, that happened again. Oops, that happened again. Every single time you become consciously aware of the pattern that's happening, this is separating more and more and more, because you're slowly becoming conscious of it, slowly becoming conscious of it, slowly becoming conscious of it. And then all of a sudden you'll notice it before this happens. You'll be like, whoa, it happened, right? It's kind of like somebody was just saying how they woke up and went, hey, I have more energy today. What the heck? Like, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what it feels like. It's just like this epiphany where all of a sudden you, or even I was chatting, I did a workshop on the weekend for my own company, and we were talking about breath techniques, breathing techniques. So breathing, and in that not willpower, in the overwhelm training, we do talk a little bit about breath work in there. And so one of the things that I teach in there is that really breath work is very powerful, but it's even more powerful when you practice it. Okay. So when you're not stressed out, when you're not overwhelmed, when you're not anxious, if you practice deep breathing, what happens is that your brain starts to understand that this is what you're doing is calming your nervous system down. But it's kind of like playing the piano or something, right? So or let's use AIP. So if I eat one AIP meal, that's really great, but that's not going to heal my body, right? I have to keep doing that consistently in order for that to work. So the same with deep breathing, right? If I do it once, chances are if you do it once when you're super, super anxious, it will help some, but maybe not 100%, right? And so, but if you do it that one time and say, oh, it doesn't work for me, well, guess what? It will never work for you. But if you keep doing it, then it will. And so in this workshop, the girl who was teaching the breath work portion, she was saying how she just remembers really distinctly after, I think she was doing the specific breath work, I can't remember what it was called, for 6 weeks. And she said it was like on that 6 weeks, she went, oh my goodness, it just happened. I just experienced the thing. It worked, and I don't know that it takes 6 weeks for everyone, but just know that it takes this consistent action, and consistent awareness for these things to start to work. Okay. Let's see what Natasha's saying. The trigger response was completely what happened to me last week when I ate non-compliant. The thing behind it was others weren't valuing me. So then I chose not to value myself. How interesting. Okay. But when I finally caught myself, I had to focus on valuing myself. And I got the encouragement from others here on the Facebook group. Amazing. That is such a cool example of this, and I'm not saying that it's cool that you went through that, because, obviously that wasn't fun. However, it's so every single time we have an experience like this, I call it the spiritual gym is what I like to call it, where you're going in the gym to pump these muscles, right? So if Natasha wouldn't have had this experience last week, she wouldn't have been able to understand this trigger in her. So this being undervalued is something that is a trigger for her. And what has in the past kind of veered her down the path that she doesn't want, right? What she did so beautifully here was notice, oh, shoot, I'm going down this path. Wait. Put on the brakes. What is it that's happening? What happened before? What happened after? What is it that I'm thinking and feeling? How do I veer myself back? Okay, I veer myself back by valuing myself. Awesome, back on track again, right? And being surrounded by people who also value you, right? And you guys, I want to remind you, tonight is Michelle and Tammy's, what do they call it? Social night. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to be around people who do value you, who do understand what you're doing, who do understand what it's like to do a fast, who do understand what it's like, to have to plan out your day and your supplements and all of that kind of stuff. So this is a great opportunity just to kind of make friends with like-minded individuals who also think the same way that you do and have the same values that you do and are on the same journey and path. So I just want to put that out there. But that's amazing.
It's lots of fun.
It's also fun.
Yes.
That's our favorite F word, fun, F-U-N. And so, yes, that is another very important part to this. And what's so funny is that I actually had to force myself to include more fun in my life because for so long, everything was so serious. It was so serious. Everything was so serious. You know, I had horrible anxiety. You guys know that, right? I had depression. I also was a researcher. So that's just like serious all the time. Right. And so I had to really allow myself to go, wait a second, you're missing fun. You are missing fun. Everything doesn't have to be so strategic and this and that and blah, 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 right? And once I started to include more fun in my life and release some of the serious, guess what? My life got more fun. And that's a way better way to live. And thank you for that, Erin. Very important point there. Okay, so let me see this really quick. Lori, I just have to tell you, Stephanie, that your voice is so soothing and I truly appreciate your calmness and sincere help. Oh, thank you. That was such a kind comment. Thank you so much. That really makes me feel very, very happy and I appreciate you just as much. Thank you so much for that. Thank you guys. Julie says, thank you, Natasha. I do that all the time. Now that I'm aware of it, I will try harder to catch myself and learn to value myself. Amazing, Julie. And Natasha, thank you so much for, sharing this so openly and honestly, because guess what? You're affecting other people. And look, Julie's even saying, thank you, Natasha, for being so open and honest. I love that, you guys. Yay! You're so valuable. You're so incredibly valuable. Each and every one of you guys is such a beautiful light on this earth. And I just always want to remind you of that because it can be easy to forget. Okay. It can be easy to forget. And what I want to do is remind you that this is the truth. You are valuable. And this is also the truth is that no matter what anybody else around you is saying or doing, you are valuable. No matter how much, and right, this is the difference between intrinsic focus and extrinsic focus, right? We talk a lot about that in the Know Your Why call. If you've never been to that call, I would love it if you guys would join me there. We talk a lot about this because intrinsic motivation is the only thing that we have control over. Intrinsically valuing yourself is the only thing we have control over. What we accidentally fall into, and I had this really, really badly, and it's something that I'm still constantly working on because I think it's common as humans to seek out external validation to feel worthy. And so it's kind of like this in a nutshell is what you think about me is how I feel about me. No. What you think about me is your business. What I think about me is my business, right? And so that's where we need to separate that as well, where it's what you think about me and how you value me is what I think about me and how I value myself. No, these are two separate things. Love it. Okay, you guys. Erin, you seem like you would be a lot of fun to hang around. Maybe now, I don't know about 10 or 15 years ago, but maybe now. Okay. I was wondering your background, Stephanie. Okay. So Isabella is asking about my background. So I personally suffered a lot with anxiety and depression. So that was, for most of my whole entire life, that's really where I was in a very, very, very extremely negative mindset. Suffered a lot, had a lot of challenges due to this. And, there was even a point in my life where I couldn't leave my house because I was so anxious, so incredibly anxious. Like I would have to gear myself up to get an oil change. Like I just remember so vividly, 3 days before I would have this oil change because I'd be around people. I'd have to actually talk to somebody. I'd have to, whatever. It was just like, even driving there was like this thing, And so, basically just to kind of nutshell it, because there's a lot that happened in between. I had some, a certain job position that really opened my eyes to the power of knowing your why and having a very powerful purpose and mission and all of that kind of stuff. Was the catalyst to me starting to change this. And I also used to weigh 50 pounds more than I do now. I don't know if I ever told you guys that too. So I was overweight and I was coping with food. So the anxiety, all of that kind of stuff, I coped with food. But then I also had a very, 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 very extremely horrible mindset about how I looked. So I thought that I had to lose weight in order to be worthy. It was a whole mess of stuff. Anyways, I was a researcher for many years. So I was an exercise physiologist turned into a researcher. And one of the people who asked me to do research for her was all on the brain. And she herself was a stress expert and a brain health expert. And so as I was doing research for her book, which was all on stress and how stress affects the brain and, you know, the power of your thoughts and brain scan images and all of that kind of stuff, it cracked something open in me that I was like, oh my goodness. Like, wow, I can change my life. And I was so sick of being that way. I was so sick of living in that just ugly way of being. It wasn't fun, you guys. Every single morning I would wake up and just, it was horrible. It was a horrible existence to have. And I got so sick of it that I was like, this is science. This is saying I can change. I'm going to do whatever this says. And so that's what I did. And it took me many, yeah, Erin says I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. That was it to a T. And I just said, no more. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to not feel like this anymore. And so it took me several years, you guys, to get to where I am today. It took me several years. That's because I didn't have coaches. That's because I didn't know what I was doing. That's because I was using myself as a guinea pig, you know, and all of that kind of stuff. So if I would have had coaching, I just didn't even know it existed then. I would have done it quicker. You know, so that's good for you guys, right? that you have a coach and can help you kind of get through this quicker. However, I 180 degree shifted my life in every way, shape, and form. And that is why I am so incredibly passionate about helping women specifically. That's who I work with in my own personal coaching business, and who happens to be on this call right now is all women. So I'm very, very passionate about that. Men too, if you're watching and you're a man, I love you too. But I really have a passion for helping people get out of this negative mindset, because it truly, truly, truly can change your whole entire life. And now I also know how much it can change your health as well, right? So my whole background started in health and wellness. However, now I'm kind of meshing those two worlds together, which has been very, very impactful for me and really enjoyable for me. So working with all of you guys has really inspired me tremendously, because it just shows me yet again, the power of our mind. It's quite literally miracles that can happen when you get control of this thing. Okay. So let me see here. Melissa says, I can totally relate. Yes, girlfriend, you are not alone. Lori says, such an inspiration. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And yeah, and here's the other thing too, is you guys, I want you to also understand that all of the negativity that maybe you've been through, you can turn it around into a massive positive, because the truth is that I wouldn't be here today talking to you guys if I didn't have that, you know, horrible time, right? I couldn't have learned what I needed to learn to be where I am now without that. So I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for it now. Now I can say that. Maybe at the time I wasn't, but now I'm 100% thankful for it. Okay. I think we are all here because we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And the icing on the cake is having you for mindset. Oh, thank you, Isabella. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's all about drawing that line in the sand, you guys, and being like, nope. Because here's the thing, is that you might go back over the line. I fell into the old way of thinking again, whatever. But the thing is that you're like, nope, I drew this line for a reason. I'm going back over here. Kind of like Natasha did, right? Where she was like, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. Nope, old me. What's the new me doing? This way. New me, over and over and over again. Love it. Erin, you are so right. Yes. Natasha, exactly, Erin. I told Brian Hoa that I was willing to do what it took because I had no quality of life, and I truly appreciate being around people who get it and are all in to change. I agree. Yes, it's so important. So I work in also another job that I do is working with entrepreneurs, right? And one of the things that it's so funny how there's a lot of parallels with this entrepreneur journey and this health journey, which is very interesting. But one of the things that I was just doing a Facebook Live on there is don't share your $1 million dreams with $100 people. Okay. So do not share your $1 million dreams with $100 people, because they will have $100 responses to you and $100 beliefs. And they will also start to taint your own beliefs right? So this is another reason why, not only because it's super fun, but because it gives you an opportunity in the social night, it gives you the opportunity to start to meet more of those $1 million people. Just like when Natasha's saying, people who get it, right? We need to talk to more people who get it, because the ones that don't are the ones that are like, that's stupid. What are you doing? What are you thinking? Right? It's like, no, 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 I'm not listening to that. Love it. Okay, so Christine, these calls are helping me so much. I have suffered with severe depression for the last 15 years. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Christine, but I'm so glad to hear these calls are helping you. And just know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, right? There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you're doing amazing. You're doing amazing. Okay. Oh, Julie, this has been the best hour I've spent in a very long time. Thank you to everyone. Yay. I have to agree. One of my best hours as well. I love these calls so much, you guys. Okay. So in the last minute, I would love to hear what your favorite part of today was. What was something new that you learned today, or something that was kind of like an aha moment for you, something that you'll be using in the future. And we'll take it from there. Athena, you're such an inspiration and motivation to have you as a mindset coach. So grateful and thankful for you and this program. Yay, Athena. Yay, yay, yay. Thank you for that. And I'm grateful for you as well. Erin, love hearing your story. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I really don't know who's heard things and who hasn't. So I appreciate that. Yeah, sharing that with you guys today. And just know that if I can do this, anybody can do it. I'm telling you that right now. I wish that I had like film footage or something of who I used to be, but it was quite literally an opposite. So it was me. I still have the same heart. I always cared very much and loved people and wanted to help people and all of that kind of stuff. But my scared version of me, the anxiety version of me, held me back from all my hopes, wishes, and dreams, and helped me back from thinking I was worthy of it, and helped me back from thinking that I could achieve things and accomplish things. And when you don't think you can, you don't go for it, right? That's one of the reasons why optimists have more luck than pessimists, is simply because they believe they can and they go for it, right? Love it. Okay. So Julie, the past is the past and has no power to affect me today unless I allow it to. Yes, yes, yes. Billy, do not share your $1 million dreams with $100 people. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. Or when you share something and you hear something back, you can just think in your head, ooh, that's that one of those $100 people. Okay, so then I know that I can't be talking about this stuff to them, right? That doesn't mean that so I have friends, right, that I wouldn't talk to about certain things, my $1 million dreams, right? But they would give me the shirt off their back if I needed anything, right? And so different conversations belong with different groups of people, right? And so that's the other thing too, is that we just have to understand who our audience is, right? And just know that we're going to get a certain response from certain people and a different response from other people, right? Love
Can
it.
Can I tag off of you on that comment?
Yeah, sure.
Real quick, because it's too long to type. So I think I'm in my first month of prep phase, and it's interesting because as I'm working on my mindset with you and reading and practicing and all of that, does anyone else in this group who might be further along notice that when you start, as you make changes and you start talking to, say, your friends who aren't making changes, you start looking at them differently? Like you can, like I had a phone call this morning where, I mean, we've known each other for like 40 years. We've grown up together, and I just, like, I can so see her negativity. And I guess maybe that was our bond, because I was so negative and she was so negative. And now it was just like, whoa. That's
okay. So this is a very, I would love to actually talk about this more. We're over time now, but so I can't talk about this a ton, but yes. What's going to happen is that as you shift and grow, you're going to be out of alignment with some of the people who used to be like this with you, right? But as you up level, guess what? They're here and there's a misalignment there now. So what used to be okay and kind of a bonding experience now feels painful, or like, ugh, it's taken me down that path that I don't want to go down, right? And so that's when you have to just kind of, you know, and it's not like you're going to get rid of your friend you've had for 40 years, you know, of course we would never say that, but you have to pick and choose when you speak to her, how the things, and learning how to veer conversations. This is something I've had to learn with my friends as well, is, you know, saying, you know, allowing them to kind of whatever, gossip or do whatever, and then go, oh my gosh, did you hear about this? That was so awesome, and blah, blah. And I just changed the subject, but very kind of like fluidly, where they don't even know I'm doing it. And then basically what happens is that you're starting to prime their brain to understand how to speak to you. And you prime their brain to understand what is okay and what is not okay in these conversations. We will chat about this. Isabella, remind me of the next call.
I will.
Cool.
I will.
Okay. Billy, really quick, I want to read this. Who I was then is not who I am now. Nope. Nope. That's exactly what we're just chatting about with Isabella's example here. And then Lori, thank you for confirming that I can continue with this awesome journey without gaining weight back. That is 110% the truth. Again, you are a godsend, such a blessing. I needed this so much today. Yay, 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 yay. Okay, you guys. Love you all so much. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I absolutely love all of you. I want to send you so much love, so many blessings. Always remember that you can do this and you are worthy. Okay, I'll talk to you so soon. All right, bye guys. Bye everybody.